All right, Shalom, Shalom. We're the real Hebrew Israelites coming day in and day out. The prophesied downfall of Babylon the Great, which is America. First off and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kadash. Double honors to thee, all the apostles of great millstone, salutations to the elect, wherever it may be. All right, Brother Shapaya coming at you again with a quick lesson. This is fresh off the press, if you will. I'm just dive into it and quote a couple of scriptures. Beijing orders state banks to get ready for massive dollar drop. The Chinese authorities are reportedly striving to shore up the yuan. All right. China has told state-run financial institutions to prepare to sell off their dollar holdings while stocking up on offshore yuan, as Beijing tries to bolster the national currency. Reuters reported on Thursday, citing sources with knowledge of the matter. The simultaneous dumping of the U.S. dollar and purchasing of the yuan are expected to avoid further drops in Chinese currencies, which is currently on the track for the biggest annual loss versus the greenback in nearly three decades. So far this year, the yuan has dropped over 11% against the dollar. The unnamed source told the agency that the scales of this round-off dollar selling to defend the weakening yuan is expected to be rather big. China's offshore yuan, which moves in lockstep with the onshore yuan, saw a rebound of 200 pims on the news, and trading volumes of the offshore yuan account for about 70% of all yuan FX trades globally, dwarfing the volumes traded in the mainland. The intervention scheme reportedly evolved primarily using state lender dollars revenues, while the total amount of selling is yet not to be determined since moves in China currency typical depend on dollar movements and the tightening policies pursued by the U.S. central banks. So the reason why I'm bringing this out, one thing to keep a track when you talk about the economy, look at the two biggest markets, all right, U.S. and China, all right? And what's really happening is everybody's getting ready to dump all currency, all right? That's the overplay for the underplay. Everybody's getting ready to dump all, physical currency and go into a digital one, especially when it comes to Moab. We know Moab is big into biometrics, biotechnology, technology in general. Moab is big into, all right? Especially over there to create some of the technology. You got cheap labor over there. So they could experiment with a lot more things, all right? But if they're dumping the yuan, because and China and America kind of bounce off each other when it talks about the economy, right? So if they're dumping the yuan, which they're already dumping the dollar, all right, that's something to take a look at, because the world's reserve currency is the greenback, all right? So if that's being dumped, now everything else is going to be dumped. It's following suit, all right? And like I said, everybody's getting prepared for what? The MOTB. That's why, when you go into these chip shortages that we've had since the pandemic, there's a reason why they're either being hoarded up or made and not sold, right? Because these things, Revelations 13 is going to take place, man. Revelations 3 and 10 is going to take place, man. All right? So keep an eye on the stock markets, man. Keep an eye on Wall Street, all right? And that's another form of watching, all right? On your watchtower, looking at different financials in the news, man, all right? And that's one thing about financials in the economy. You have people that are paid to predict and forecast what's going to happen in the economy just based off the numbers they have, all right? Esau is big on numbers, man, okay? And that's just something I wanted to share real quick. With that, shalom.